Good morning, you beautiful beast of ferocious love. How's everybody doing? I am back from my little mini vacay. Had a great time. Um, I actually rode like a roller coaster. Yes, me at my age, my young age. I'm a baby senior, remember that, okay? Baby senior. Um, and actually got my husband to ride it too, which was like quite a feat. I had to kind of put a gun to his head, but um, we had a good time. Got some uh, ocean, stuff in, like viewing it, not getting in it. Fun on the boardwalk, that kind of stuff. Of course, me a little gambling. Did pretty good, not bad. But I'm exhausted. I am tired. I'm exhausted. So, I wanted to do a video today. Actually, I was led to do a video today on the first day of the month. And you'll see why shortly. Got a few things that I want to tell you about upcoming and explain a few things, talk about a few things already going on. Um, Also, if you see, I posted up a picture I did years ago, quite a few years ago. And this picture is interesting to me because I painted this back when, long before I knew that we were going to be heading into a period of the divine feminine energy, right? And clearly, this is a picture that displays all kind of divine energy. I mean, we've got the woman with the lotus at the seat of her soul, the seat of her spirit, the seat of her chakras, however you want to view that. Embracing the light, the divine light, looking out into the wide expanse of the ever flowing waters, which we can also interpret and translate as the ever flowing waters of divine love, right? And I painted this back then, like I said, not knowing that this period of the divine feminine energies was coming, but we're in it, smack dab in it. And the situation now with these energies and this period that we're in is that the world, we need to recognize the true balance and equality of these energies, okay? Um, Many religions and countries on this earth subjugate women, okay? They make them think that they are inferior to men in some way, or they must dress a certain way in order to appease the male energy or even their version of God, um, which is just not true, okay? The divine feminine expression of energy is just as natural and just as equal as the male divine expression of energy. And actually, in the spiritual world, it is not known as male or female, more like a yin and a yang, okay? More like a full balance of all energies combined into that null spot that I always talk about. The null spot being the perfect, harmonious spot that the universe pulses at. Okay? And so we need to realize more and more, especially on this planet, that those energies are equal in nature, just different. They just express differently. And that's one of the things that perplexes me with people who are intolerant of like a male who expresses more feminine type energy, or a female who expresses more masculine type energy. Because, in all honesty, we all should have more of a balanced nature of the two. Okay? Some express more than the other, but there's nothing wrong with some expression of what we see as the opposite, right? And at times, a female will express more of a masculine type of energy in certain cases, and the male, like they say, when a man is tender, he's more tender than a woman could ever be. And I've found that to be true. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Okay? When a man expresses true, tender female energy, there's just nothing like it. Nothing like it. It's the most beautiful thing to witness. Just like when a female is expressing very powerful, courageous strength. Oh, she's stronger than 10 elephants. Okay? So, there was also someone who posted on the Facebook group, My Near Death Experience from A to Z, a picture that is quite similar to this. And she and I had no idea of each other's paintings. Her painting is of the world, but with the lotus at the seat of the woman, just like I have. And her woman is embracing the world. So there's such a... We were sort of on the same wavelength with that, okay? But anyway, so just wanted to kind of give you a little expression of that. Now, let's also talk about... I wanted to do... Today's the first. I was led to do this, like I said, and we'll talk about why later. But are my guides mother effers? Okay. Can we talk about when I am a true channel for their insights, predictions, precognitive abilities? I mean, they are spot on, unbelievably so. On the 21st of August, I was given a clear vision of Ukraine with some type of missile system that no one knew about, was familiar with, had ever used. It was going to be completely brand new, and it was going to be a real groundbreaker. Okay? Was it yesterday or the day before, Ukraine launched the Flamingo missile, drone, whatever it is. Brand spanking new. No one has any clue about this weapon. Everyone, the European Union, of course, Russia, United States, they're all scrambling to know what is up with this weapon. Apparently, instead of flying over the target, it somehow goes under the target and destroys from that way. Or, I mean, it's so new, I don't even kind of know. There wasn't much about it. It's just that it was all over social media, and your foreign news networks, Algiers, BBC, all the BBCs, BBC America, BBC. It's just like, whoa, brand new weapon. So to my guys, they got that again. Spot the F on. It's called the Flamingo weapon. The Flamingo. And it's some mofo. It's some mofo. And another thing about it that they did say, the target, one of the targets it just destroyed was very deep into Russia territory. See, the problem with the Ukrainian weapons that they previously had and that was given to them, they were short range type of missiles, short range type of drones, right? Can only do within a certain boundary or perimeter. This thing can like travel far, extremely far, and it did, and it destroyed a very secret Russian base. I'm sure right now the Russians are like, and it's just a beautiful thing to see. But anyway, it will be a transformative um, weapon for this war that, frankly, is long overdue to end. But what do I know, and who am I to say that, right? Another thing about um, my companions' predictions and what they've seen. We talked about all these earthquakes. I said August would just be like the world was shaking. Here's the thing, guys. I still see, they're still showing me Russia having some serious land caving, something going on with the land just collapsing, portions of it missing. They are going to be so distracted. Now, this one region in Russia has been getting bombarded with earthquakes, and we're talking on a daily basis, 3 or 4 a day. I was going to try to read the names of the places in Russia that are getting bombarded, but I don't want to embarrass myself. It's impossible to read them. But if you go to that website I told you guys about, earthquake.usgs.gov, you will see the same area is being hit with 4.5 and above earthquakes. Afghanistan just had a very severe 6.3 on the Richter scale earthquake, several after that. But here's something I was given last night, okay? I was shown that there are some more mega quakes coming, 8.0 above, but it's going to be dual. There's going to be earthquakes in that range happening at the same time, but different locations. These mega quakes. Where exactly? I wasn't shown that. Probably for one of two reasons. Either it's not going to really affect this area, or it will. But these are mega quakes I'm seeing, over 8.0, 8.4, 8.5. And they're dual. They're going to happen at the same time. And they're coming. They're coming. And then there will be a succession of them cascading down in intensity, but they're still going to be there. And I just keep telling you guys, Russia needs to seriously be careful. And I know that on a divine scheme of things, okay, they are basically being given an opportunity to change up, change their ways, do things differently, end the carnage, and they're kind of not doing that, and they're going to pay for it in some form with this landmass destruction. And it won't be just the Ukrainians. Like I said, there will be some type of seismic activity or a complete cave in of a large portion of that country. So that's another thing that's coming up. Um, oh, someone mentioned to me, where's my hype button on my videos? Because they want to use it to hype my videos up. I had no clue what a hype button is. As most of you know, I don't heavily monetize myself nor this channel. I'm just not. That's just not my focus for doing these. Um, Not that I blame anyone else that does that. You do you. I'm just doing me. But that's just not my focus. I don't know what that is, but you guys always fill me in on stuff that I need to know. So if anyone knows how I can do this hype button that this person is talking about, please let me know in the comments, because you know I do read my comments, and how I can get it. I did briefly try to look it up, and it basically told me that it should be there. But obviously it's not. So I'm not doing something right. Um, and in line with that, I, you know, the whole money thing to me is just, it's great while we're here, but it's just not a super priority of mine. I've seen the real treasures, and they're not monetary. They're not um, green paper, okay? The true treasures of this world and beyond are the spiritual treasures, and the love, the kindness, um, the helping others, the compassion. Those are your true treasures. And if you're rich in those, somehow the rest kind of flows through. And it has proved to be true for me. I'm not wealthy by any one stretch of the imagination, but I'm okay, I'm comfortable, and I'm very content with what I do have. And speaking of the whole money thing, I know that there's a rush on the Powerball. um, for those that want to win it, good luck. I don't want that kind of money. I just don't. But to those that do, I wish you the best. I do. A lot of people were concerned that Don the Con canceled Kamala's Secret Service protection. And immediately, as soon as it was said on the news, it was like it didn't make a difference. It didn't matter. And one of the reasons is because if something is supposed to happen to her, it's going to happen whether she has Secret Service protection or not. But the same is true in reverse. If something's not supposed to happen to her, it's just not going to happen. She could walk alone down Times Square and be protected and safe. Okay? We, at times, if need be, have powerful spiritual energies that protect us. And remember, the spiritual realm has mastery over this realm. So the spiritual realm can change our perception of time. It can move us out of a block of physical space, or move others out of our space, make ourselves invisible to others. And that has happened to me more times than I can tell you guys. Um, there were one or two major occasions where I was somewhere, especially one time, there were three guys that were, I was in a store, and I was in the back of sort of the store. I was all alone, and there were three guys, and they were looking for people to rob. And literally, I was in the makeup aisle, okay? And there was the makeup aisle and another aisle over here and another aisle over here. So I was like in the middle of three aisles, okay? And these three guys, I heard them and what they were doing, you know, before I could actually see them. And there was nowhere for me to go, nowhere for me to hide. And they were approached those aisles that I was in. I remember I'm in the middle aisle, and they got to the one that was to the left of me first, and I could hear them coming. There was no one in that aisle. I heard them coming towards my middle aisle. They looked dead down the aisle. And honest to goodness, it was like they didn't even see me. And they kept going. And they were looking for people to rob. I think they already gotten one person. But anyway, in that case, I am so sure that my guide or guides either themselves did it or called an emergency request with an angel form, because they do that. They can summon those from the angelic realms. Excuse me. But whatever happened, I was invisible to these guys. Completely invisible. It literally was like they did not see me. Okay? So, to those worried about Kamala, and it's also been stated now that the head of the California Highway Patrol has now offered to protect her. Okay? And isn't that a kick in the butt? And unfortunately, the administration can't say, you can't protect her. No, I mean, they can't control that. But anyway, so something that, they tried to do flat out, just being cruel, just kind of backfired, and it's not working. So, always remember the spiritual realm has mastery over this realm. And if you think about it, think how many situations you've been in where something should have happened, something should have harmed you, or you should have been in a car accident or anything, and it didn't. And it was like, what the? I remember in high school, I was going to the restroom, and there was no one in the halls. And this guy, he spoke to me, but he was down quite a bit, near some lockers or whatever. And he spoke to me, and I spoke back, but it wasn't like a loud speak back. So he says, I'm fucking talking to you. And next thing I know, he comes charging towards me, right? And I was like in shock, but I wasn't too scared because I don't have too much fear. Typically, I'm more scared of mice than I am of probably anything on this earth, to be honest. And I know that's probably pathetic for those hearing that, right? My husband just thinks I'm the biggest wimp when it comes to that kind of stuff. But anyway, I didn't have too much fear, but I didn't know what to do. Like, do I run, or because he was probably faster than me? So I just kind of stood there watching this guy charging towards me. And next thing I know, a teacher comes out of nowhere and screams at the guy, "What the hell are you doing out in these halls?" Because I had the pink pass in my hand. He didn't, because you had to have a pass. And stopped the guy dead in his tracks. And he kept going, or whatever happened. So that was another instance. But I know that we all have those instances, right? So just remember that the spiritual realm has mastery all the time. All right. Let's see. I want to give something else I was given. They were kind of busy with me last night. Something in regards to 3. Okay? Either the 3rd of September, the 13th of September, the 23rd of September. Something either divisible by 3. That's going to be very key this month. Key situation that will be self-explanatory. But it has something to do with 3. Okay? And so I'm going to leave that there. And when this situation happens, it's like I said, it's just going to be self-explanatory. There won't be any need to explain it or anything. Could that relate to Don the Con? Absolutely. Absolutely. And so that's another thing that I was shown. His spiritual form attachments have broken off even more. Like, he's literally hanging by a shred. Okay? And I've been telling you guys for the longest time now, he's being treated for multiple things. They came out with the least, I don't know, sickly thing that they could to explain his situation. The Venus insufficiency thing, which is supposed to be like a non-lethal type of situation, and I must say they did a good job of, coming out with something that they had to come out with something, right? But it had to be something that was like safe and not, deadly type of thing. And so I give them a A+ on their efforts, seriously. But trust me when I say there's so much more going on with him, much more. There's several things that he's being treated for. And he's almost like at a prop-up stage. Like they're literally propping him up. Okay? And by the way, I'm not sure if, he was missing for those 3 days. And then they showed a super quick video of him dashing from the White House into that black car. And you saw like him for like 5 nanoseconds. I'm not even sure that was him. Okay. I'm really not sure. But anyway, just, things will happen when they happen. It'll be the right time. It'll be the perfect time. We'll just say that. Okay. All right. Let's see. Oh, in another bit of feel-good news, Turkey closed its airspace to Israel. Okay. Israel is not allowed to use Turkey's airspace for anything. Okay? Go Turkey. Congratulations on being one of the countries standing up to um, that guy and doing the right thing. 600 Guatemalan children were blocked from being deported. Okay? That's another piece of good news. They must go through due process. They must be represented and not just flown there, plopped off, and, that's it. Okay, Portugal's president called Don the Khan a Russian asset. Duh. But for him to come out and speak, publicly and openly about it, I applaud him on that also. And that's that's it as far as the stuff I wanted to talk about that's going on. And I'd like to go into something a little bit deeper and a little bit more thought provoking that I think will help many people. And this was given to me. Okay, so one of the things that I have heard people say, and some pretty prominent people, as well as people that have asked me this question, is are we in a soul trap? Okay? And some of the people that have perpetuated this idea is because it's like we're in an endless reincarnation trap. We're just like sort of puppets. We are being tricked and fooled into coming here. Sort of things along that line, okay? I can tell you, oh, and also the thing about the light, if don't go towards the light, because that's definitely a trap. Now, in all honesty, I did not see that type of tunnel of light during my near-death experience, okay? Mine did not involve like a tunnel where I was taken through a tunnel and then I had my near-death experience. Mine was a bit different, and if you've read especially my first book, you'll know how it was different and why the light wasn't even a necessary type of mechanism that I had to go through, okay? However, are we in a soul trap? No. No. I can tell you that I will say this. A lot of times people that see certain type of, shall we say, trickster type of energies when they drop this physical form and they have certain type of experiences, it is because of the level of understanding that they are at. Okay? Some people, even though they do not have an understanding, but because of the purity of their hearts, are able to witness bigger and brighter realms, okay? But those who don't have that level of understanding and also have sort of those, we'll just say, not totally pure of heart, okay, do see a very limited type of view of the spiritual world, and sometimes they stay in those lower realms. Okay? And to them, that is it. That's, you know, that's that's the epitome of what they envision and what they think that the spiritual world is. Okay? When that's just not the case. Um, you will basically see and experience uh, according to your, not only, like I said, your level of understanding, but the condition of your spiritual self, right? And so if your spiritual self is not riddled with those negative earthly traits, the jealousy, the hatred, the resentment, the pure selfishness, right? If it's not riddled with that kind of baggage, because that's what it is, it's baggage, and it keeps you tied down, okay? And it's sort of like, okay, say for instance, you're going into a huge Olympic-sized pool, and I don't even know what the true depth of the deepest part of the Olympic-sized pool is, but that's just kind of what was given to me. But and say, for instance, you have sandbags tied around your legs, your ankles, right? And so you're going to sink to the very bottom, and you're not going to be able to see um, what's outside of the pool. So to you, your field of vision is basically the bottom of the pool, right? And so it is with certain folks who have these spiritual experiences, but experience them in a, I'll just say, negative way, okay? And that translate everything into a negative type of experience, okay? Now, if you don't have those sandbags tied around your ankles and you dive in, you are going to eventually come up, and you're going to see all the aspects of this pool and more, right? So, and that doesn't mean that we have to be perfect patties, because we all know that I'm certainly not. Far from it. To experience the beautiful realms of the spiritual world. But the intensity of our baggage is really what matters, okay? And obviously, when I had this experience, I did not have that intense baggage, because I saw much of the beauty of the spiritual world. I saw different facets of it that I know could never be tricked, okay? And another thing, when you are loose of this physical body, right, you are at a real state of being with your true spiritual self, okay? There's a realness to it that can't be faked, that can't be you can't be fooled by. There's a realness to it. You are in touch with your real, true self. Okay? And the realness is, it's more real than me looking here at you guys, or you looking at me, or me looking at this monitor. It's more real than that. There's such a realness to it. So, I'm not buying that theory that this is just a soul trap, and, it's all fake, and, that type of thing. Now, I've always maintained we are playing a play, but it's a real play. Okay? We are playing a part, okay? But it's real. It is real. Just in our sense, in our 3D sense, it's real. Okay? So, um, that's my opinion and experience on that. That's mine. All right? Uh, let's see. Someone wanted to talk about the Gaza people and the gut wrenching situation there. And so I am going to approach it with as much spiritual input as I can. And something else that I received last night and that I truly felt deeply, okay, deeply. These people that are suffering, that are from GAA, deserve our deepest love and compassion for choosing to experience these horrors for whatever reason they have chosen to experience this. They have my deepest love, my deepest respect, and my deepest compassion. We are only seeing one side of the picture, okay? And it is a gut-wrenching side. But as is true with everything, there are literally no real victims. There's really no real victims. We choose what we experience. We choose the paths that we have in so-called free will, which we don't fully have here while we're here, okay? Many of these people are either experiencing this for either a karmic balance, to clear up some karma, to draw out compassion, to help change the nature of how humans are treated, how how countries treat others, treat its citizens. There's a multitude of reasons why many of these people are experiencing this, but the breadth of it is overwhelming. But they have my true love, my true compassion, and my utmost respect. Now, I want to put it to you this way, because there's going to be a lot of people that say, oh no, no one would choose to go through this. Okay? And I understand that, because it's gut wrenching. It breaks your heart, and it's heart wrench everything. It's horrific. But I want you to think about this. And this also was told to me. The people that are actually doing this, right? At some point, and we won't probably see it, okay? But at some point, they're going to have to balance out their actions. The people that are committing these atrocities, these sheer atrocities, will have to balance out their actions, right? You agree with that. There's no way you cannot agree with that. So when they, in 20 or 30 or 40 years or whatever, however long it takes, and they come back And if you could see the full picture, you would see a lot of them put themselves in certain situations to balance out those atrocities they're committing now. You would say, yeah, good, glad that's happening to them. But in that 30 or 40 or 50 year time period, you won't see that full picture. You won't see their soul contracts, right? You won't see that. All you'll see is their suffering, and you'll say, oh my God, this is horrible. And compassion, having compassion for them will be right. Just as we're having compassion for those going through what they're going through now. You're going to have compassion for those committing the atrocities years down the line, if you're around then. Right? Not knowing the full picture. So, whether you like hearing that or not, it's extremely true. These people deserve our compassion. And that's one of the reasons these type of situations happen, is to draw out that compassion. So yes, we have compassion, but we have compassion with true understanding behind it. That nothing, this is not just willy-nilly. And also, by them experiencing what they're experiencing, will hopefully change how humanity is dealt with, will draw enough reaction to make those changes, to force changes, so that it doesn't keep happening. And not one person needs to come on the channel and say that's a cold view, because it's not. It's not. True compassion means true loving, caring with understanding. These people going through the horrors of what they're going through actually demand the ultimate respect and love for all the different ways that they are either making changes, forcing changes, or clearing up their own karmic obligations, which has to be done. Has to be done. And when you truly love humanity, you want them to have that chance to balance out those energies. Because let me tell you something. If those energies are not balanced out, a person, a spirit can be tortured until they do. It's just like if you do something. Have you ever watched a kid do something, pretty bad for like a kid? A kid, bad stuff, right? Like maybe they stole their sibling's cupcake, okay? Or they ripped their sibling's favorite shirt or something, right? You can literally tell exactly almost what they did because of the guilt. It's written all over them. They can't hide it. They can't, and it tortures them. It literally tortures them to the point where at some point they will tell you what they did because they feel so horrific about it. That is how a soul is tortured, a spirit is tortured when they are unable to balance out their actions. They are tortured. So remember, we don't have the full picture. Viewing through these eyes and this mind, we don't have the full picture. None of us do. We cannot see it. We can't judge. So, I will repeat. They deserve our deepest love, respect, and compassionate understanding. We've got to help when we can, if we can, because that could be all part of why it's even happening for some of them. But we've got to have true, compassionate understanding. And so if we can't physically help, we can send love to the entire situation. Even though love is already there. But we send the love so that we can recognize the love that's there. And when I say the love is already there, you're saying, well, hell no, it isn't. They're starving and they're this and they're that. But in some cases, these beautiful, tortured, according to our eyes, souls are transmuting those energies they need to transmute, to correct things they need to correct, to balance out things that they need to balance out. And I will just remind everyone, and this is a fact, whether you want to accept it or not, the universe is never cruel. Things may seem cruel to our eyes, but it's never cruel. Ever. Ever. So, and that's a lot, and I know it's a lot to digest, and you don't even have to agree to any of that. That's fine. That is completely fine. I'm not one of those people where you've got to ever agree with me. You've got to go along with me. It has to resonate within you. And you've got to take what you need and what you can use in your own way. That's the only way that true understanding and growth happens. The only way. So, use whatever you can of that in whatever way you can. Anyway, guys, thanks for being here. Thanks for being the beasts that you are. And until we meet again, which will probably be really soon. But take care.